right, Derek. Monday Night Football in Detroit. You going to fly back to Detroit for the game?
You know what? I was planning on doing that, but we got too much going on. We got a concert going on Fremont Street tomorrow night. We got a concert at our event center going tomorrow night. We've got our masquerade ball. Then we have another costume party Sunday after all-day football. And then we've got, obviously, Halloween on Tuesday, which is like an all-day night affair. It's Halloween in Las Vegas is a busier night on Fremont Street than New Year's Eve is. It's one of the top two. The top two are St. Patrick's Day and Halloween, and I ended up making an adult decision and decided not to fly back because I would have been too worn out with all the festivities going on here. So I'm gonna watch it here in Vegas, and I'm gonna root my Lions home.
All right. Yeah, Fremont Street is an experience out there. Let's put it that way. You see a little bit of everything. It's a freak show on a regular night, but on Halloween.
On Halloween, it is a bucket list visit. I can tell you
no question
that.
about it. That's going to be early next week, so I can see why you're sticking around town. So the Raiders and the Lions in Detroit, and Jay Kornegay at the Westgate Superbook said 90% of the money on the Lions right now, who are laying 8, and I'm not seeing any bigger numbers out there. Jimmy Garoppolo going to be back at quarterback for the Raiders, and both teams off bad losses. Raiders embarrassed in Chicago by the Bears, and the Lions blown out last week by the Ravens of Baltimore. You would think the Lions are going to bounce back here, and this is going to be a popular teaser play as well.
Certainly a popular teaser play. I would say that we've seen Lions money. We opened at 7.5. We went to 8 earlier today. We went to 8.5 because we had a good amount of Lions money that came in during the afternoon today. So we're hanging an 8.5 right now. I think if you can get a money line at what we're showing here on the graphic, the DraftKings number of 380, I think that's about as good as you're going to get. I think that number is probably going to go a little higher. I would say the one key thing to remember, this game, when you handicap this game is far different than if this was a 1 o'clock Eastern time game on a Sunday. Ford Field on a Monday night is a completely different venue. It will be an incredibly strong home field advantage. Now, if the Lions stink, it's not worth much at Ford Field. But when the Lions have been good at Ford Field, it gets so loud. Think back to the Monday night game a few years ago. Detroit was playing home against the Bears, and if I'm not mistaken, the Bears had 5 or 6 false starts because they could not hear. This will be an incredibly loud venue on Monday, and I think the Raiders are really going to struggle on the road.
Yeah. Well, Raiders struggle everywhere. They score 16 points a game, and those false starts by the Bears in that game, partly due to noise and partly due to incompetence by the Bears offense.
Very true.
How about the Saints and Colts in Indianapolis? Flip of favorites here, but it's not much. We saw the Colts -1 early in the week. Now we got the Saints -1.
Yeah, Saints -1. Nothing changed on the total, sitting 43.5.
How about Jaguars and Steelers? Trevor Lawrence listed as questionable. I expect him to play. And Derek, Jags short road favorites.
Yeah, there was a little concern with Trevor Lawrence. So it went from 2.5 down to a 2. So we're hitting it at 2 and 40.5 because of some of that speculation. Not a lot of action on that game so far.
I just put in my Circa Millions plays and took the Steelers +2.5 as one of them. How about the Texans and Panthers? And you're not going to see this too often. Texans road favorites.
Yeah, road favorites, and they're getting all the money. They're, as we're talking here, home run Diamondbacks take
Tommy
the lead.
Pham.
Look
Solo
at that.
shot.
Wow. This Texans team, it's seen all the money. We opened it at 3 flat. Immediately went to 3 -20. And you couldn't even hold that number. It's gone to a 3.5. So it's been Texans all week. So maybe there's some love for Stroud coming out to do something here on the road.
How about the Eagles in D.C. to play Washington? We saw these teams go to overtime the first time in Philly. This number has it's 6.5 in the Circa Millions contest, but that's not the number right now.
No, it's up to a 7, and I think, I don't think it's going to go much higher, this divisional matchup and the way they played before. I think this is kind of a pretty solid number.
Okay, Rams and Cowboys, who are off a bye.
Yeah, Cowboys will open at 5.5, went to 6.5. It's been laying at 6.5. It hasn't moved all week.
Patriots and Dolphins, and Patriots finally had a breakthrough win last week against the Bills, and that was notable in the Circa Survivor contest. Dolphins here, big favorites, not quite double digits though.
No, but we posted this thing at 10.5. Immediately got some Patriots money. Brought it down to 9. Now it's kind of sat at 9.5, and that's where it's kind of zeroed in for the last 24 hours.
All right, Jets and Giants. And I heard today from a reliable source that the great Steve Fezzik has the best bet on the Jets in this game.
Really? Yeah. Well, there you go. So the move here was initially on the Giants, where you had the Giants +3 laying 120. Then it went to 110, and now the Jets have the money coming in. So it's a 3. Jets are favored by 3, -115. The bigger move, though, is on the total on the under. So we're down to 35.5. I know this is a game. There's been some discussion about weather that plays into people's thought process.
Yeah, there's going to be weather that impacts some of the college football games this weekend, too. We got snow and wind and things you got to keep your eye on now this time of year in these games. How about the Falcons as short road favorites in Nashville?
Yeah, we opened it at 1. Bounced up to a 3, kind of settled down at a 2.5 right now. 2.5 and 35.
Okay, the Packers disappointed me last week in Denver. Vikings had a big win on Monday night. This is going to be a popular play in the Circa Friday Football Invitational, and the home dog is a popular play. Derek, what's happened here with this number this week?
Well, we opened it as a pick'em. And then it moved to Minnesota money. So Minnesota right now, we've been hanging at Minnesota as a 1.5 point favorite. They've been hanging at that number since yesterday morning. Totals 41.5.
All right, Browns, who still without Deshaun Watson at quarterback, go to Seattle. And what do we have here?
It opened at a 2, went straight up to a 4. And that, couldn't even hold a 3, 3.5. Went up to a 4. Kind of got a little buyback on the 4. So it's settled in now at a 3.5 and 37.5.
All right, the Chiefs have beaten the Broncos 16 straight times. Patrick Mahomes never lost to Denver. And the Chiefs, pretty big favorites here this week on the road.
Yep, 7 point favorite. You got to pay a little extra juice at -115. Totals bumped up, though, and I know this is a game they've talked a lot about some snow. Hitting the weather, but we opened 45.5 yesterday. We're at 46 today. We had to move it to 47. So even with the snow, they're betting the over.
Big Randy McKay, who's been hanging out in Colorado for the football season, he's flying to Vegas this week, Derek. So keep your eyes peeled for him. He's going to be at Circa this weekend.
Will do.
Hey, in the Circa Millions, actually, the Broncos are +7.5, so you get the extra hook if you're looking for a contest play on an underdog. Bengals and 49ers without Brock Purdy. San Francisco up to 5 here?
Yeah, so it would open at a 6. Then you get, some of the news. Purdy goes into concussion protocol. Boom, it drops to 3.5. Now it bumped back up to 5. Now 5 is a slippery number. I think this is going to move off of that. But you can't tell which way. It's solely dependent upon what's going to happen on an injury report. So, this could easily go back down to a 4 or up to a 6, depending upon what you see on injury.
This is a popular game in the contest tonight, too, and we got sharps on each side of it, Bengals and 49ers. Derek, you said you took a big bet here on the Baltimore Ravens at Arizona.
Well, we did recently. We opened at 8.5. We were sitting at 9.5. 9.5 is the football contest number. We are now up to a 10. We went to a 10 about an hour ago.
All right, and Bears-Chargers. Again, with Bears with backup quarterback Tyson Bagent, and Chargers need a win badly. They're 2-4. Sunday Night Football.
Yeah, nothing much. We opened 8.5 and stayed flat. I think there's just maybe a little lack of interest in this game, and really it's hard to handicap the Bears at this point. So it's been 8.5, 46.5.
Never easy to handicap the Chargers either. I think that's going to be a teaser game for a lot of people too, knocking the Chargers down. And Monday night we talked about Raiders and the Lions. What's your prediction? Pain for the Raiders?
Oh, yeah. I think, we're looking at something like Lions 38, Raiders 6.
Wow. Okay.
Go to VSiN.com/subscribe to become a VSiN Pro subscriber today.